way of contemplation, self-discipline, and most importantly, the inner peace. Yes, the power of yoga, the ancient Indian practice known to have originated 15,000 years ago, is not just to train your muscles, but to align your mind, body, and soul to deal with life challenges. In today's episode, we're going to deep dive into the professional life of Mrs. Surabi Bharadhwaj, who is a yoga teacher. She has tried her hands in different professions and finally found her inner calling as a yoga teacher. Come join me. Hello Surabi, welcome to my show, The Next Step. Namaskaram.
Namaskaram, Akshay. Thank you so much for having me on the show.
Pleasure. Alright Surabi, tell me a little about your journey. What made you land up in this profession and what led you to take up yoga, teaching yoga as a profession?
Yeah, it's a little longer story. Is that okay?
Absolutely fine.
Okay.
Like to hear that.
Yeah. So I'm basically an environmental engineer. I've done my master's in it.
Okay.
And I've worked in corporate for 3.5 years into ESG. I was into environment, sustainability, and governance.
Okay.
And I wanted to start up. And I was a very hardcore businesswoman. And, but when I wanted to start up, I wanted to start everything sustainably.
Okay, right.
So like that, I've maybe met close to 150 people, both men and women, and trying to analyze what can work. And basically, this was about creating sustainable organizations.
Okay.
So that was the angle.
All right.
And when I met all these big shots, I used to feel that whenever I would meet them for lunch or they would just keep so they would just keep 3 to 4 pills in their plate.
Right.
And of course they're very, very, very successful in their own career and fields. But I would feel that is this success? Somewhere that question of what is success stuck me.
Right.
And so I used to I wanted to redefine it, and I was always into finding answers. So that's when I listened to one of the videos of Sadhguru, and where he was explaining about sustainability is what works and what works is sustainability, and it definitely. This is exactly what I'm speaking about, right? And until then, maybe none of the people that I had met spoke in those words. And it meant a lot to me. And that's why I
heard your calling.
Definitely, and it somewhere brought the balance into into my being as well. And I attended a program called Insight. That's a program for entrepreneurs, and I met him. There were a lot of questions that were answered. And that's when that's when yoga happened to me as well.
Okay.
So for me, yoga is a sustainable solution. That's how I got into yoga.
Wow. Nice. Tell me, Surabi, what according to you is yoga?
Yeah. So there are a lot of definitions to what yoga can be. Whenever we attach a word called yoga, like yoga namaskar, or vinyasa yoga, hatha yoga. So that means whenever we attach a word called yoga, that means you should be able to go to your own ultimate nature. That's what yoga is. Okay. But nowadays, yoga is a popular word,
right.
And people can use yoga into beer yoga, wine yoga, goat yoga. So yes, definitely. So all the wacky kinds of yoga.
Right.
So basically, we. From Hatha Yoga background, we call yoga as a tool to be in any ways however you want to be, right? So it is about creating that kind of chemistry the way you want to be. So let's say you want to be happy and blissful, or anxious and tensed and angry. The choice is yours. So because happiness is also happening within you, and anger is also happening within you. A mosquito cannot come and bite you and create these emotions. Right? So emotions is one aspect of it. But as we say, there are 4 beings into being. body, mind, energy, and emotions.
Okay.
So we will just make use of these 4 ways that we have to reach to our own ultimate nature, to create the chemistry that the way we want. And so that's what yoga is about.
Okay. There are a lot of institutes teaching yoga, right? Do you think they will all be doing it right?
Yeah, probably not also. Yeah, it depends on the quality as well, right? I can only comment on what I went through and why I chose Isha as an organization to learn from. As I said, I went to a program called Insight and met Sadhguru, and I've seen the quality of the work, that I got out of that program. And I was very, very, very impressed out of it. And I looked outside as well, for many other yoga programs that are there. So this program was for 5.5 months. Okay, it's a residential program. The program starts by 5:30 in the morning and it gets over by 10:30. Look at the quality and the timings also, right? And so it was a very long duration program. It gave a lot of time for people to look at yoga in depth and experience yoga as well. Unless you experience it, I don't think so you'll be able to transfer it to other people. Because even now, though I'm an entrepreneur, though I'm into many other things, this yoga as a teacher is the highest form for me, and I keep it at that level, right? For you to become that person, I don't think so you should haste into just getting a certificate. You should not do this profession, just to have a certificate, and I also can teach yoga. So I looked into the quality of it, and there are many other teacher training programs for 15 days, 20 days, and all. I never preferred that way. So if you feel that quality is something you want to keep up with, go for institutes who has a lineage. Because it's a classical form of yoga, you will notice that there is a guru, there is a lineage which comes with it.
So please take us through your work process. So how does your day typically look like?
Yes, okay. Don't get tensed when I say this because it's very surprising when I say this to people. And it's not a very typical structure for a Hatha yoga teacher or so. I have structured it this way. So my day starts at 2:30 a.m. 3 o'clock in the morning, and I start my sadhana. It goes on till 5:30, 6 in the morning, and then Hatha yoga classes start in the morning by 6:30, and I'll have my first session in the morning, and until 8:30, 9 o'clock, participants are there at my studio. And then I'll have to go attend my family for like 2 hours, and then again, we'll have to look into the registrations, questions from people, and promotions and marketing, because you could be a yoga teacher, but there is always a business attached with it, right? And you'll have to keep promoting. So around 4:30, 6:30, again my classes will start in the evening. And it will go on till 8:30, 9 o'clock as well, right? And then I'll have to attend my family, plan the day, plan my next day, and keep things ready for the next day. And around 10:30, 11 is like, I'm done for the day. So it'll be throughout the day, I'm all the more energetic. People will not know that, if I've slept for 3 days or not, if I've had 2.5 hours sleep, 2.5 to 3 hours of sleep, every day. But for me, that's very important because, I have dissipated the energy throughout, and then I'm dead by the end of the day. So that's how I feel, nourished as well. So as a normal human being, it should be that, the energy should be dissipated by the end of the day that you're dead. And you'll go to bed, and
you get a restful sleep.
Restful sleep. And then again, wake up okay, what am I going to do the next day? That's how my typical day looks like.
you have taken yoga as a full-time profession. So tell me, what are the investments required for completing the training, then setting up the studio, and then marketing your classes?
Right.
So what does it take?
Yeah. So for me, investment in terms of training, right? So one is cost and one is the time also, the energy that you put in. So the course was for 5.5 months,
Okay.
and so the investment that has to go into in terms of money was 6 lakhs.
All right.
And after that, when you come out of the school, it's like any college or any school, right? So you have to set up your own studios, or you have to find the venues. And so initially I didn't start with having my own studio. So I used to teach independently as a private session where I would go and teach in their own places, in the participants' places. So and also and then I started hiring places like daycares or schools, because early in the morning or late in the evening the halls are free. So I could get it at very minimal cost. So that's when I started to rent it out, because I didn't want to, because the initial investment itself was too huge for me, and I had borrowed some money as well. So that means I had to incur that and give it back. It is not like I'll have to I can take that money for myself. So the minimal whatever the investment has to happen to run the classes, that's how I took care of. For maybe close to 1 year, this is how I did. Okay, and I used to demo for other teachers who are already there, so that I also could experience a little bit on how to get the participants, how does the marketing work, and to understand this field in a better way, right? So and then I invested in my equipments like mic and projector. So these things came really handy because it was very essential also when you take group classes. So these things maybe costed me 50,000 rupees initially. I rented them and then I bought it. So it will come anywhere from 50,000 to 1 lakh, right? And I would price the classes also accordingly. Then on. When I looked into tier A cities and B and C, so I would charge accordingly, because people are like, for them it's about priority as well, right? Whosoever can, for whom yoga is a priority, they were able to pay that kind of amount. So when you do private classes, you charge a little bit more, and investments, it became a little lower as well. So marketing was another ball game altogether, because this is where the challenge was also, right? People would come with the intention of learning the whole complete set of Hatha Yoga for 200-300 rupees, and in their minds it was like for my backache, my backache should go, and you can just teach me any asanas, right? Why are you charging me so much? And creating that awareness of what this quality is and everything, to make them understand that I also have to sustain, and this is a one-time investment. This is not like you have to keep coming to my studio. You have this with you, and this is for your own lifetime. Right? So that was one more challenging issue. This is not like investment in terms of marketing, but it took me a long time to understand, to make them aware of what this is. In terms of marketing costs, initially I didn't market my studio as such, and it came after a year or so when I set up my website and everything. Maybe 25,000 to 30,000 to set up my website, and then I started on with promotions for maybe 5,000 rupees a month to get participants of like 5 to 10 participants every month. So I think it's bare minimum you have to invest, because even the people who are in my next door would not know that there is a studio like this when it comes to yoga or anything classical in nature. So it's important to be online, and so that's the kind of money it took to promote the market online. Offline is something, it is always word of mouth, right? And it took me time to gather that people. Right? So that's investment in terms of time. Is it possible to sustain So it depends on how you are looking, at this profession also. If you have two different professions, like you're somebody, you have a corporate world behind you, and you are taking this as a hobby, then it's a very different ball game. You can do it in the weekends, and definitely you are already sustained by your own work. And this you can just keep it as a hobby. How much ever it comes, it doesn't matter to you. You're just spreading the word of yoga. You're a protagonist of yoga. But at the same time, when you're seeing this itself as a profession, okay, this is your mainstream, then it's a very different ball game altogether, because it will not work unless you're full time into it.
Right.
Right? If you're not full time, people will also feel that okay, you're not as committed as the full time teacher. Right? Why will they come to you? It's a hobby for you. So once you're a full time person, like how you are sustaining. Let's say that like if there is any other person to support you for the initial few days, it will be very, very helpful. Like any other profession or any other business, initial few months to a year, you should be backed up. It could be your own savings, that is sustaining you for some time, because whatever you're earning, you will be putting into the market itself. To gather people, to market, to get here, this and that. So ideally, I would suggest that you have some backup, like savings of your own, or somebody to back you up. Okay. So if you're a family man, somebody else is dependent on you, I wouldn't suggest that you take this up. As a full-time initially itself, unless you have some savings kept, because we do not understand how the market can happen, and especially during COVID, right? It was shut for 2 years, and basically it was a struggle as a full-time teacher into it. Of course, I had my husband to back me up. But otherwise, if I think that I'm alone and I have to take care of my family, I think that would be a struggle for me if I didn't have any other, backup career for me. So these professions like gyms and yoga, so little it can be this way and that way also. 1 month you can get participants, in the next month there would be none. What will you do then if there are dependents on you? So that's why I would suggest that for the initial few days, unless not few days, few months until you're established in the market, when people notice you, or you have spread your word across that you are there. So until then, somebody has to support it.
What have been your challenges, sacrifices, and perks professionally?
Yeah, so I think it's a big question also. I'll just first talk about the challenges that I came across. I was an engineer, right? I'm from a tech background and not into business at all. So this aspect of marketing and promoting, I'm not good at promoting myself. Okay. So that was a major challenge when I have to say that I can do it. Like advertisement aspect of it, it was very challenging for me initially. Okay. And then slowly, like when it became a need, that's when I started to equip myself with those kind of tools. Okay. So that's one aspect. Okay. And marketing, like as I said, I had to learn a lot of things about, like I'm talking about digital marketing and those things to make creative aspects of it. Because for me, I couldn't go for somebody else to support me in these aspects, because I was already low on my budget. So I had to learn it and I had to do it all by myself, organizing and marketing, everything by myself. Though it took time, but it was very worth it to learn those things. So that's one aspect. And the major challenge that I think I'm still facing is about the organizations, right? People have this, very. I cannot relate to it, but I have seen it in people that they do not like gurus, they do not like organizations, they do not like follow-ups. Like let's say that I'm from NITK, I'm from Surabi. I've learned from there, and let's just imagine that I'm called NITK. Okay, so like that, people still have the version of you're from Isha, you're from Sadhguru, or I think Ravi Shankar Guruji, or some they have this very I do not know what to call this, but they have this they do not like this aspect of gurus and things. And then I was like, dude, this is something amazing. It's been working for 15,000 years, and why can't we just take it? right? So that I'm still struggling with making people understand that this is amazing, this is science, right? For them to understand this is science, I think it will take even more longer time. But I think a lot of people are coming up with very serious aspiration towards yoga. That is also happening. Yeah, so those are the major challenges that I had, and the timings. Right, I have family, and this yoga happens only in the early in the morning or late in the evening. To manage my schedule along with my family was little, I don't know, it is taxing for the family also, right? I think it was more challenging for the family to adjust.
To your style.
Yeah, correct. So that's one aspect of it. Now coming to the perks. Yoga, I never went into yoga for making money or becoming successful in the career or something like that. But this I wanted to offer because this is the ultimate that I saw in life. So rather than what it has given me in terms of monetary support, of course I've been able to be sustainable with that. But my whole being has been transformed, ever since the Hatha teacher's training, the way I'm being, the way I'm communicating, the way people feel the difference as well from how I was to how I am right now, and it shows in the quality of the work, whatever I do. So that's a major perk, and the way my whole family has been structured around yoga as a culture. It's beautiful.
Okay.
It just works phenomenally. I have put this code that no yoga, no food. So everybody does yoga and then only food, and it's beautiful. It works beautifully. So that's a major perk as a mother that I have received from yoga. Yes, to learn yoga, I don't think so that there is an age constraint as such. Let's say we have sessions from 7 to 14 onwards. Until 6, children should not be learning yoga because it will interrupt their musculoskeletal development. And so we have 7 to 14 years module, and then 14 years onwards anybody can learn yoga. Okay, like the complete yoga module they can learn. Now when you're asking me prerequisites of learning and teaching yoga, I would fundamentally say that physically, you have to be definitely fit, okay, to take yoga as a teacher, basically, because training itself is very rigorous in nature, and though yoga can make your physical body, you also have to be in a position to give in what it takes.
What do you think are the different avenues for a yoga instructor?
Yes, there are plenty of opportunities nowadays. I think even in schools they are becoming very mandatory now, right? So they will seek yoga instructors to come and teach in the schools and incorporate the making programs. So they will need yoga instructors, somebody who is qualified enough to talk to the corporate people and to take care of their pain and the economic issues, right? So somebody who's certified at the same time who knows the science behind it, because corporate world needs that kind of people. And so corporate value programs are there, and online, like you can teach online, that is one of the avenues. And there are many other avenues which are connected with yoga, like you can have affiliations with Yoga Mart or any other brand product, because they will also be looking at people who would want to promote their products, right? If you think that it is very it's really compromising the quality, and they are promising the health and whatever is coming along with yoga and what we intend to provide to the society, I think merchandising and affiliation is one aspect that people can look into. So that's one aspect, and I would say that you can partner with other like Siddha, Varma, or Ayurveda. People who are traditional in nature, you can go to hospitals and teach, and just to give that integrated medicinal approach.
Holistic.
Yes, holistic approach, because nowadays even hospitals like the allopathy system, they also would want to include integrated systems in their clinics, right? So I think yoga exercises are required in the hospitals, in Ayurveda shops, in the clinics, in Shuddha Vaidyas, in physiotherapy. So I think you can find yoga chikitsa kind of modules everywhere into treating people as well. So yes, and of course, retreats is one of the options where people who are trekking and want to travel, so you can travel and teach yoga. So it's one of the avenues. There are plenty of options once you're committed into it full time.
Okay. Okay, Surabi, tell me, how satisfied are you with your work?
Well, I think there are two different questions in this itself. Like I myself personally, if I feel satisfied with what I'm doing, I will not evolve more.
Okay.
So I always keep my satisfaction quotient very low.
Okay.
But if you're asking me how happy I am about choosing this profession for my life, and would I want to be doing this like until I die, I think I would die to teach this.
Okay.
And until the day I die, I will teach this and die. So in terms of rating, if I have to say, on a scale of maybe 0 to 10,
Yeah.
right? Then I would say I'm close to, though I'm doing 100% into it, I think I could still do more. So I would want to go beyond my limitations. There are a lot of limitations right now. So I would rate as 8.5, maybe. Okay, I rated 8.5 for myself.
So that's 85%?
Yeah, 85%, and there's a lot to do.
Alright, Surabi. Lastly, what is your next step?
Oh wow, next step.
Yes.
Okay, I think we have many steps to cover, but I think what you're saying is very nice, because we have to just focus on the next step. But,
Yeah.
for us, we have started something like Laya. Laya is trekking and yoga retreat.
Okay.
My next step is towards expanding that and promoting that event. And also we have started something called Be Extraordinaire.
Okay.
So we have gathered traditional tools of well-being, like Varma, Siddha, Ayurveda, yoga included in it. So we would want to be promoting, as a sustainable lifestyle, how people can, access these tools and make it as a part of their lives.
Okay.
So this is, one of the big projects that we are working on. For the next few months, we're going to be on it. So that's our next step.
Okay. All the best for your lecture.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. That was Surabi Bharadhwaj, a passionate yoga teacher. I'll catch you in my next episode with another interesting profession. Until then, let your work give you satisfaction, because satisfaction is success.